My aunt who had been working at my house for over 2 years was taken by a neighbor in the same neighborhood. Pissed off. I went nuts in the homeowners group. I'm not mad at you for robbing my dad. My mom. Or my money. You robbed my aunt. Do you want me to die? Who will take care of my son? Me. Who will take care of it? Opponent. I'm really sorry. I'm going into labor next month. I need my aunt to take care of me. How about I give you my brother? Sort of compensation. The next day. A daddy's man showed up at my door. A day ago. My auntie, who had been working in my house for more than 2 years, suddenly left a letter and disappeared. The content of the letter was that she was quitting her job. The reason was that she had found someone who needed her care more. Am I not the one who needs more care? I'm the one who used to say every day, "How will you live without me?" Elisa, who used to say such things every day, now actually doesn't want me. No, Elisa couldn't have written such an outputted resignation letter. It's even more unlikely that she has suddenly found a direction in life. I dialed Elisa's number. Hello? Elisa's friendly voice came from the other side. My tears were ready to fall. And I just opened my mouth to say Elisa. The next second, the beeping sound of a disconnected line rang out from the opposite side. So, Elisa, you really don't want me anymore? After a day and a night of grieving at home, the group finally couldn't take it and went crazy. It scourged the entire living room to the point where it was comparable to a garbage dump. But it didn't know from which corner it took out the leash and wagged its tail frantically at me. The pair of big eyes with tears looked a bit pitiful. I loved it and hated it at the same time. Okay, Mom will take you to a good place to poop. Tuan Si, who hadn't been out for 2 days, was so excited. After taking me around half of the neighborhood, it finally gave up pooping. It's a bit smelly. I had just put his poop in the trash when Onesie barked twice and started to run away with me. My weak little body was almost pulled to the ground by an airha and rubbed like crazy. With great difficulty, it finally stopped. I bent over, gasping for air, and was just about to open my mouth to scold it when I followed its line of sight and saw the person we'd been thinking about day and night. Elisa. My excited voice accompanied by the woofing sound of the Noki startled Elisa, who was returning with the vegetable basket, like she had seen a ghost. Elisa twisted her head and ran into the hall. A glass door separating me and Noki. Elisa, Elisa. I shouted an eyeing lie. And Tuan Si let out a low whimper, looking at Elisa's determined back. I hated the person who robbed my aunt. When I got home, I started going crazy in the homeowners group. Who in the 7th building snatched my aunt? Doing such sneaky things behind my back. Won't your conscience hurt? I'm not mad at you for robbing my dad, my mom, or my money. But you robbed my aunt. You want me to die? Who will take care of my son? Who's going to take care of it? It was finally accompanied by a shadowy crawling emoticon. The homeowners group exploded all of a sudden, throwing out melon-eating emojis. Please expand on that. Melons are at the ready. Just as I was about to continue going crazy, the main man finally showed up. 7 Building 1201, aren't you a single dog? When did you have a son? The message was just sent and withdrawn in seconds. Building 7 1201, aren't you single? When did you have a son? I don't care if you robbed my aunt. Why did you bring personal attacks? I sent a beautiful photo of my family's troop to the group. And the group was instantly quiet. My son has been listening only to his aunts since he was a kid. Not even to me as his mom. How can my son and I live without auntie? My braised fish, my sweet and sour pork. My old flame soup. Enough for 2 archers. Maybe my accompanying picture was just a sad. And the other person returned an apologetic emoticon. Building 7. 1201. I'm so sorry. I'm giving birth next month and I need an aunt to take care of me. I heard that your aunt is very good at taking care of women in labor. So my husband dug someone up privately. The tone, the words, The apologies. Just when I thought Elisa would finally come back to me. Her next words caught me off guard. Building 7. 1201. Why don't I send my brother over to you? Sort of make up for it. Me. Other owners. 6 no more aunts. More boyfriends. 1 block of 1101. You've earned it. You've solved your life's problem. Good job. Auntie. If you have a craving for 1101, you can just go to 1201 for lunch. Congratulations. Me. It's true that people don't have the same sadness and happiness. Eating Mel in a unified world. The next day. Adhering to the principle of sleeping until I wake up naturally. I was woken up by a doorbell. I thought it was Elisa coming back. And opened the door without even thinking about it. But I forgot that Elisa knew the password to my house and couldn't have rung the doorbell. Who are you? I frowned and stared warily at the man in front of me. The man was born tall. Nearly 188 height, filled with a sense of oppression. Deep eyebrows, could not see any emotions. I'm Archer. My sister asked me to come. Archer's good-looking face had a trace of unnaturalness. I remembered what 1201 said yesterday and was shocked. She actually did send his brother over? Is this really a real sister? You go away. I don't need you. I gave my expulsion order without mercy. I want an aunt. Not a handsome man. What can a handsome man do but look good? Can he help clean up the house? Can he cook for me? Can he take care of me and my son? Obviously. I've underestimated the ability of a handsome man at this point. I've already bought the food. Don't waste it. Archer lifted up the several bags in his hand. I looked at those bags of food. My heart was in a battle. But finally my appetite overcame my reasoning. Archer came in, and looked at the dirty and messy house in front of him. And then stopped talking. In the end, all his words were reduced to one sentence. Where is the kitchen? After he went into the kitchen, I went to my room to wash up. I wasn't worried about what he would do. I had surveillance in my house anyway. After washing up, he found Tuanzi's dog food from somewhere. And Tuanzi was eating it happily at the moment. I found chips and relaxed on the couch watching the show. I'd like to see what tricks he could pull off. Half an Archer later. Looking at the clean and tidy living room. I didn't dare to move. It was like magic. After another Archer. Smelling the aroma coming from the dining table. My uncontrollable stomach grunted twice shamefully. Come over and eat. Don't say it. Archer in an apron has a different flavor. That figure is superior to that perfect human structure. Sweet and sour pork. Chicken wings with cola. Stir-fried beef with broccoli. And a fish soup. All of them are my favorites. I excitedly picked up a chicken wing with a familiar flavor. Having eaten takeout for 2 days, I couldn't care less about my image at this point. Eat slowly. Don't choke. Archer's voice was clear and cold. Very nice. I ignored him and continued to eat. Today's time is too tight to cook that old fire soup for you. You drink this first. A bowl of milky fish soup was placed in front of me. And after I took a sip, my eyes instantly lit up. You know how to make old-fashioned soup? The corners of Archer's beautiful lips were slightly raised. And his ink-like eyes carried a hidden smile. Well, if you like it, I'll make it for you next time. Not next time. Just tonight. I stared at Archer like a hungry wolf. If it was anyone else, I would have been scared away. Good thing he wasn't. Good. The corners of his lips rose even more. And his eyebrows were tinted with softness. His whole person looked extraordinarily dazzling. I subconsciously swallowed my saliva. This is really a show of beauty. Not only is Archer's face pleasing to the eye, but her other aspects are similar to that of a snail girl. A bold idea was born in my heart. I'm going to get the ingredients for the soup. Do you need me to help walk the dog? Archer asked me as he took off his apron. I glanced at my indolent son and shook my head. No, he recognizes people and won't go with you. In the next second, the Noki that was lying comfortably on the ground suddenly stood up and walked to Archer's feet with a leisurely face, wagging its fluffy tail. Archer looked at the Nokia at his feet and raised his eyes to look at me. Those eyes. With a hint of playfulness. Me. This eating thing. When they left, I immediately opened the owner's group and found Archer's sister. After waiting for 2 minutes, the other party passed my friend request. Me. Is this brother of yours for rent? How much a month? Perhaps my tone was too urgent. The opposite party sent several question marks. Me. I am satisfied with your brother. Accept your offer last night. Opposite. Do you really agree to let him live there? Me. Opposite. Oh. He was supposed to stay at my house. But since my auntie wanted to stay at home, I kicked him out and gave my auntie the room. He's leaving here tonight. Me. Is this really a real sister? Sure you didn't pick it up. Opponent. If you don't want it, don't mind him. He'll get out on his own. Me. Other than Elisa. This is the first time I've met an Annie who fits my requirements so well. A voice in my head told me to never let him get away. I grit my teeth. I'll take it. Then, Archer's sister and I came to an agreement without Archer's own consent. I would provide a place to stay, and he would be responsible for taking care of me and my son's daily living. Of course. For daily expenses, I'm responsible. Before Archer came back, his sister had the errand boy send his entire luggage to my house. When Archer came back and saw the familiar suitcases in the living room, the expression on his face was like a facial paralyze. My heart was suddenly a little weak and my brain couldn't keep up with my mouth. Your sister sold you to me. Archer. No. It's your sister who let you stay with me temporarily. I hurriedly looked for a replacement. Don't you have no place to stay? If you live with me, you can visit your sister whenever you want. And you don't have to look for another house. You just need to help me clean, cook and walk my son. 2 birds with 1 stone. Right? I was too weak to look down at him. I don't think he thinks I'm some kind of pervert. Right? After waiting for a minute, he finally spoke. Good. Then from now on, I'll trouble you. I looked up at him in shock. And after making sure there wasn't any displeasure on his face, I finally breathed a sigh of relief. Archer's craftsmanship really has no words. It simply tastes exactly like Elisa's cooking. My house is a 3-bedroom, 1 bathroom. I live in the master bedroom, and Archer chose the room furthest away from me, because it was the first time I stayed with someone else. I made a mess at night. I went out to get a drink of water and ran into Archer coming out of the bathroom topless. I covered my mouth while that hot gaze was dead set on Archer's tight pecs and that sexy mermaid line. There is a blessing for the eyes. Archer turned away in embarrassment. His earlobes slightly red. That. My clothes are wet. Sorry. After saying that, he panicked and ran back to the room. That back. With a few hints of running away. I recalled in my mind Archer's perfect body. Broad shoulders and narrow waist. Long legs. Perfect muscle lines. And that fair and flushed face. The proper look of a shy little wolf dog in a novel. No, I have to draw him. I'm a cartoonist. Archer is a writer. In some ways, he and I were inexplicably compatible. After this month or so, I'm really getting more and more satisfied with him. Handsome. Good personality. Can cook. Can do housework. Doesn't smoke. And can take care of pets. It's just like an orphan on Earth. Lily. My sister gave birth yesterday. She asked if you want to go see the baby. Sister Juliana gave birth? Go. I definitely want to go. I finished the rest of my sandwich in 1 bite. Go. Go now. Archer pulled my hand and smiled lightly. No rush. Don't choke. Finish your breakfast first. This smile is also too foul. Obviously it's been over a month since I've seen it. I still occasionally get my heart racing just because of one of his unintentional smiles. Good. I pretended to cough lightly and broke away from his hand. I don't know if it's just me, but the moment I let go, there seems to be a momentary disappointment in Archer's eyes. In the car, I took out the long LifeLock I bought long ago and looked at it. Suddenly a figure pressed over. And a scent of the same laundry detergent I was wearing lingered on the tip of my nose. Lily. You're not wearing your seatbelt. Archer's slightly muffled voice with a hidden smile came from ear to ear. He's too close to me. Too. If I moved just a little bit, I could touch his face. My face instantly burned and my heart beat wildly. He's always like this lately. It's obvious that all he has to do is open his mouth and remind me. But he just has to get up and help me himself. If this keeps up, I'm going to get the wrong idea. I stole a glance at him, and he had a bemused look on his face. As if he had just helped me with my seatbelt just so he could get going faster. What's wrong? Noticing my gaze, he turned his head to look at me. His eyes were too clean, but it set off my mind to dirty. No, I just think you're very handsome today. I avoided his gaze and pretended to look at the scenery outside the window. But I was nervous inside. How did I say what was in my heart? Thanks. A pleasant low laugh spills out of his throat, sounding as if he's in a good mood. In the large VIP ward, Sister Juliana was eating on the sofa by the window. The sunlight shone through the window on her slender body, covering her with a warm halo. It is said that mothers are very weak after giving birth. But this was not the case with Sister Juliana at all. She had a happy smile on her face when she saw us coming. Lily's here. When I didn't meet her in person before, I imagined her as a person with a jumpy mind and a weird personality. But after meeting her in person, I realized that she is an optimistic, kind and girlish person. She's 30 years old, and she's still in such a state because, in addition to having a husband who dotes on her, there's also the good atmosphere of her family of origin. Since the baby was taken to the bath by the nurse, Juliana asked Archer to go and see if it was ready. I wanted to go along, but she wouldn't let me. Juliana, I want to see the baby too. She gave me a weird look and shook her head at me. It's just a wrinkled lump. What's there to see? I'll give it to you to play with when Sis raises him up. Me, Sister Juliana. Is he really your own? She looked down and contemplated for a while. And when she looked up again, she looked like she had made up her mind about something. If he's always looked like this, he could have been picked up from a trash can. My pupils were instantly shocked. And the water I just drank into my mouth almost spewed out because of her words. Seeing this reaction of mine, she couldn't help but laugh. I'm just kidding. See how scared you are. As far as your brother-in-law and I are concerned, even if he suddenly had a genetic mutation, it's impossible for him to be so ugly that he's unattractive to the eye. That's true. Juliana and her husband. One is warm and handsome. The other is charming and lovely. The child born from this, no matter how ugly it is, it can't be as ugly as that. Lily, you are almost 27 now, right? Have you ever thought of having a child for fun? Sister Juliana suddenly changed her words and looked at me with a flirtatious face. I was so scared that I shook my head. Sis, don't be ridiculous. I can't even take care of myself. How can I take care of a child? You can find a husband who can take care of you, mother and child. Aren't there a lot of daddy's men nowadays? The kind that spoil their wives like daughters. Archer's cool face flashed in my mind. And his figure when he was busy at home. My face was a bit unnatural. Sister Juliana suddenly lowered her head and stared at me with a teasing eyebrow. Do you already have a favorite? My face instantly burned and I turned my head to the side. Don't talk nonsense. It's not. She didn't say any more. She just quietly smiled and looked at me. With those eyes. As if she had seen through all the secrets of my heart. Not long after, Archer and the baby came back together. The baby's whole face was red and skinny. I can't say it's good looking, but it's definitely not ugly. Sister Juliana raised an eyebrow at me. With that look. As if she was saying, you see, I didn't lie to you. Just a wrinkled donut. After spending about an Archer at the hospital, we left. On the way home, Archer said he was going to the market and asked if I wanted to come along. I thought it would be okay to go home. So I tagged along. Archer breezed into the food market. If I didn't know him, it would be hard to imagine that someone like him would be in such a place full of fireworks. Lily, let's eat seafood noodles for lunch. And make you marinated big bone sticks in the evening. Okay? I, who was looking at Archer in a daze, unguardedly met his gaze. I immediately had the feeling of being caught peeking, and hurriedly averted my eyes. Yes, it's okay. Good. Even without looking at Archer's face. I know that the corners of his mouth must be raised right now. Because the happiness in his voice is not hidden at all. Auntie, bring me 2 pork bone sticks. The pork seller's auntie sized us up and darched her eyebrows. Yo, Archer. This is your girlfriend. Right? She's really pretty. She's really a good-looking girl. Auntie's booming voice made us attract a lot of stares. Archer kept a faint smile on his face and didn't have the slightest idea to explain. That. Auntie. I'm not his girlfriend. I don't know why I'm explaining. Probably to use it to see what Archer's reaction is. Because I don't know him at all. I don't know if he has a girlfriend or if he has a favorite. Also, how he looked at me. I stole a glance at him. And it seemed like something was churning in his dark eyes. And then it went back to calm. It hasn't caught up yet? Auntie's body leaned over to Archer's side. And although the volume was lowered a lot, it could still be heard clearly. I smiled helplessly. However, I saw Archer actually nodded silently. And then, Auntie showed an I get it expression. On the way back, I asked him why he didn't explain. He said that if he explained, Auntie would drag him to say more, in order to be able to leave earlier. So he didn't explain. I accepted this explanation from him. After all, there was no need for him to lie. Recently, since the manga is coming to an end soon, for the past half a month, I've just been in my room every day, drawing and revising nonstop. It's a good thing that Archer cooks me all kinds of nutritionally balanced meals every day, and lets me walk downstairs on time every day. Otherwise my fragile body would have been unable to take it. To thank him, after painting this last scene, the first thing I offered to do was to take him out to celebrate. I thought you couldn't eat spicy food? Is it really okay to eat this? I originally wanted to take him out for a big meal, but he brought me here for hot pot and ordered a spicy soup base. It's obvious that he himself can eat spicy at all. It's okay to eat it once in a while. He skillfully put the fatty beef into the pot, fished it out after 15 seconds, and then naturally put the meat into my bowl. Eat it. Haven't you wanted to eat it for a long time? He said lightly. His chopsticks picked up a few more pieces of lamb and put them into the pot. My heart skipped a few beats. He, who had seen the friend circle I posted last night, had brought me here to eat hot pot. This realization made me a little happy inside. Throughout the meal, I finished most of the dishes and Archer ate very little. Looking at his furrowed brows, his lips reddened from the spicinces, and his stubborn, defiant expression, I actually found him a little cute. Archer paid the bill because I couldn't stand his aided look, which was not unlike that of a donut. We had just walked out of the hot pot restaurant when a tall and delicate woman walked up to us. The woman's face was smiling like a flower, and her voice was soft and pleasant. This one is? The woman's eyes looked me up and down. Her sight made me feel a little uncomfortable. Friend, Archer answered dryly. So dry that it made me feel that the little cautionary movement just now was just my self-consciousness. Hi, I'm Freya, Archer's college friend. I'm Lily. I tried to keep the smile on my face so they wouldn't see the difference. I haven't seen Archer in a while. Is it convenient for me to talk to him? The smile on her face was still soft, but her eyes were determined. I laughed silently, and before I could get the words out of my mouth, of course, I was interrupted by Archer. It's not convenient. We have to go home and walk the dog. With that, he took my hand and left. It wasn't until I was sitting in the car that I slowly snapped back from his words. I looked at him sideways. Half of his face was hidden in the shadows, his thick eyelashes slightly drooping, making it impossible to see the emotions inside. She and I are just ordinary classmates. In the same club when we went to school. Occasionally some contact. But after graduation, we have never seen each other again. Not to mention any contact. Today is the first time I see her after graduation. I don't like her, and I don't plan to have any contact with her in the future. His paragraph, which came slowly, directly blindsided me. I stared at him in a daze, unable to believe that he would actually say this to me. I thought, perhaps, there was a little bit of him liking me in his heart. Seeing that I didn't say anything, he turned his head to look at me. Even though the light in the car was dim, I still saw the glint of seriousness in his eyes. I'm not cheating on you. In an instant, my heart raced, as if something had surfaced from the depths of my heart. Lily, is there anything else you want to ask? No, no more. He has made it so clear. What else can I ask? Could it be to ask him if he likes me? I was shocked by this thought of mine and turned my head to look out the window in a panic. Hurry up and go home. Any later and the group should be tearing the house apart. Good. Archer's voice was light and quick, with a noticeable smirk in his tone. I pressed my head against the glass, the heat on my face lingering. They say that a crush is a person soldiering on. I seemed to really like him. On the third day after the manga finished, the editor Alyssa suddenly contacted me, saying that the author of the graphic novel had created a new novel, and asked me to make sure to meet with the author this time and take the rights to the novel. This was seriously beyond my ability. But I couldn't bear Alyssa's crying and threatening, so I could only agree to meet this author whom I've never met. No, you asked me to meet you at 11 o'clock. Why did you ask me to come here at 10:30? I hurriedly arrived at the cafe 1 minute before 10:30, but was told by Alyssa that the appointment was actually at 11 o'clock. So I was speechless and looked at the sky. I'm not afraid you'll be late. Moreover, we came early and waited, which can only show our sincerity, and also let the other party see that we attach importance to this cooperation. Flip-flopping. You continued to flip-flop. I angrily drank a mouthful of coffee and ate another mouthful of Black Forest cake before my mood got better. After waiting for 15 minutes, but came a person who made me unexpected. Looking at Archer in front of me, dressed in a black shirt, black suit pants, a high-strung and mature Archer. My heart slammed as if it had been hit by something. The contrast between this image of him and his usual casual and cool look at home is just too great. Why are you here? Ah, Lily. Do you know Emiliano? Alyssa's eyes flickered between me and Archer, her face full of confusion. Emiliano? Archer is actually the author of the graphic novel I drew? I looked at him in disbelief. This is too metaphysical. Met a few times. I avoided Alyssa's probing eyes. If she knew that I've been using the great god of her heart as a babysitter, she'd probably go crazy with me. Not to mention her. I'm a bit of a wimp right now. However, how could someone like him willingly live with me, and take care of me like an old mom? It seems that I need to go back and have a good talk with him before I can do that. The cooperation talk went smoothly, and I just watched them from the sidelines as a transparent person the whole time. When it was over, Alyssa went back to the office. I, on the other hand, went back in Archer's car. When I got home, I called out to Archer. Archer, let's talk. Archer, okay. Archer was not surprised at all. He pulled out a chair and sat down. It was as if this family had already accepted him. Did you already know it was me? I got straight to the point. Well, I met you from afar at your company's annual meeting last year. I recalled last year's company annual meeting, when Alyssa did say she wanted to introduce me to him. But I suddenly had something to do and left without a moment's notice. Then why did you agree to stay with me? There's absolutely no need for someone like you to do such a thing. He looked at me and suddenly smiled with a frank face. Because my sister asked me to come. And I like the group very much. So, it's thanks to Juliana's and Antoine Chan that I have a happy life today? This realization made me feel a little bit upset in my heart for some reason. I'd rather he came at me. Is there anything else wrong? He still had a faint smile at the corner of his mouth. None. I said sullenly. What do you want for lunch? Whatever. I got up coldly and went back to my room. My tone somewhat betraying. Ever since that day, I've been sulking and being all lovey-dovey with Archer. Today was Sister Juliana's baby, Leon's full moon reception. I was holding the white and tender Leon in my arms and never let go of the smile on my face. Lily, did you and Archer have a fight? Juliana's sudden comment startled me. Why is her intuition so accurate in this area? Lily, you and Archer had a fight, I said awkwardly. Leon's little hand kept grabbing mine and wouldn't let go. It was kind of cute. If he tries to bully you, tell me and I'll teach him a lesson. Even if I said no. Sister Juliana obviously didn't believe me. Actually, I don't know exactly what I'm angry about. Clearly I've been the one being taken care of all this time. But I'm just a bit angry. Maybe. Women are such inexplicable creatures. A few days later, a few friends who played better in college called me out to get together. I didn't tell Archer to his face that I wasn't coming back for dinner tonight. I just sent him a message. After a few years of not seeing each other, we had both become much more mature. Without that youthful look we had back then, we reminisced about our college days, and walked from reminiscing to looking at the present. Everyone, more or less, has changed a little. Good times pass easily. At 9:30, Archer called me. He asked me where I was. And he came to pick me up. I didn't even think about it. I just refused. On the other side, he suddenly softened his tone. His tone was gentle, coaxing me, like a child. Good boy. Obedient. Tell me where you are now. I don't know if I was compelled by him, and I told him the address in a confused manner. Because I didn't want others to misunderstand. I said goodbye to my friends and went to the roadside to wait for him. Israel, who was supposed to still be at the dinner party, suddenly came out. Israel is the year our department of grass. Like him a lot of people. My dormitory for girls have to like him. Of course. This does not include me. Lily, I like you. Can you consider me? Nowadays Israel exudes a mature charm. His eyes are sincere and serious. I was thinking about how to reject him so that it wouldn't hurt so much. When a familiar voice suddenly appeared and responded for me. She likes people who can cook, do housework, love small animals, are emotionally stable, and spoil her like a child. Archer walks over to me. That wide palm holding my hand tightly. Obviously, you're not like that. Looking at the suddenly appearing Archer, Israel's face looks a little bad. And he smiles to himself. So, you already have someone you like. This time, I didn't explain. I wish you happiness. Lily. Israel's back looked a bit forlorn. I looked up at Archer beside me. The dim streetle twilight shone on his face. And that cold side face seemed to become a lot softer. Let's go. He lowered his eyes and smiled faintly. Aha. He held my hand and walked towards the car. As if we were really a couple. In the car, I was inexplicably a little nervous because of what he just said. In the next second, he suddenly moved closer to my neck, sniffing my scent. The warm breath breathed on my ear, tickling it. Lily, you've been drinking. The low, hoarse voice carried compulsion. My body flashed through a current of electricity. Tingling. Face hot. Reached out and pushed him away. Just drank a little bit. He lowered his eyes and looked at me tenderly. A low laugh overflowed from his throat. Even his eyebrows were colored with softness. I always feel that he is now seducing me. But I didn't dare to do anything to him. We tacitly didn't bring up that night's incident. And the days returned to the way they used to be. Seemingly peaceful, yet alarming in every way. One ordinary afternoon, Archer suddenly knocked on my door. "What's wrong?" Outside the door, he looked at me with a mysterious face and smiled. Then, he took out 2 concert tickets from behind him and gave them to me. "It's Nico's concert tickets." I excitedly took the tickets and turned them over and over in my hands, looking at them again and again. "How did you grab them?" "I've been trying to get them for a long time. Nico is a singer I've loved since high school. And his songs have, so to speak, occupied my entire youth. If there's one thing I dream of, going to one of his concerts is one of my many dreams." "Thank you, Archer." He gently stroked my head and looked at me with a doting face. I lowered my head, a suspicious blush spreading across my face. "The concert is this Saturday in Arashi City, which is next door. The doctor takes about 3 Archer. We're going on the same day. And then we'll stay there for the night. There are a lot of support items for sale. So I'll just buy 2 cute headbands. One for each Archer." Our seats were in the VIP section, in the 2nd row, very close to the stage. The atmosphere was really hot. Just one Archer and my voice was already about to go hoarse. When it came to the interactive part, I saw Archer and I being cast on the big screen. Nico asked in a friendly voice what our relationship was. My heart instantly tightened, and the uncertain words came out of my mouth. "Friends." Nico laughed and joked. "Dude, you're going to have to do better than that." I glanced worriedly at Archer beside me. And to my surprise, he chimed in. "Well, I'm working on it." My heart suddenly swam and my face exploded dread as I looked at him in disbelief. The people at the scene started to rise up. "Kiss one. Kiss one." My mind was directly blinded. And suddenly, he blocked my shy face with his hand. The tone was gentle and doting. "She was shy." "Ah." A scream rang out from the scene, although I couldn't see the expression on Archer's face at this moment. This moment was unrivaled for me. After the concert, I looked at him apprehensively. His expression remained the same as usual, and I felt a little lost in my heart. Maybe he was just kidding earlier. When I came to the parking lot, he asked me to go to the trunk to get something to eat. I wilted and went to the trunk. The moment the trunk opened, flowers, balloons, music, ambient lights, a sudden surprise. Then he came toward me holding a bouquet of pink roses. "Lily, I like you. Let me be your boyfriend, okay?" His gaze was deep and serious, and there was a trace of imperceptible nervousness hidden in that warm smile. "Uh-huh." I hooked up a bright smile and nodded seriously before reaching out and hugging him. What was there to hesitate about? I liked him. And he liked me. A crush that finally came to fruition. Returning to the hotel at night, I went to his room to look for him. The moment he saw me, he tensed up. "Haha, how cute." I said I wanted to sleep in his place. And he rejected me straight away without even thinking about it. However, he simply couldn't mess with me and finally had to agree. He hugged me to sleep and told me to be good and not to make a scene. Otherwise, he did not know what he would do. Just kidding. I've been craving him for so long. How could I let the duck in my mouth fly? Then, with my tireless efforts, he finally surrendered. It was a sleepless night. We've been together for half a month now, and we're like glue every day. When Sister Juliana found out we were together, she was so excited that she left Leon behind and took me to a bar to go bouncing. Then we were humiliated to be caught by 2 men. One day at noon, Archer was cooking in the kitchen when suddenly someone opened the door and came in. It was my parents. I nervously jumped off the couch as Archer heard the commotion and came out of the kitchen to watch. I was already picturing a bloody fix in my head. It turned out that my parents actually called out to Archer with a kind face. "Archer?" Even Archer familiarly called out to my parents. "Uncle and Auntie." Me. Is there some secret here that I don't know? Then, I realized that the incredibly smart me had actually been set up by Archer. Unfortunately, even if I was angry, it was useless. Because the trap was dug by him. But it was me who willingly chose to jump down by myself. Extra, Archer's perspective. When I heard that someone was trying to remake my novel, I refused. Because I thought no one could bring my characters to life. But after reading the images of the characters she drew, I was pleasantly surprised to find that she gave them souls. Because of her, I made it a point to charge a membership and start following the manga. It's been a year since I've known about her, and I've never met her. Then I met her at their company's annual meeting. She was quiet and kind of cute. The editor was going to introduce us, but she suddenly ran away. I heard it was because her dog fought with a golden hair, lost the fight, got hurt, and is now crying in the vet hospital. Her dog is kind of cute like her. The day after the annual meeting, I went to my sister's house to see my sister. But I saw her in the neighborhood. By the time I caught up with her, she was already upstairs. A glass door separated me from her. Later, I inquired about her information. And the more I learned, the more I realized that I had fallen hopelessly in love with her. People who knew her said that she was a person with no desire, poor self-care skills, and a heavy nerd. On top of that, she's not a fan of love. How can this work? I decided to start with her parents. After I learned that her mom and my mom were junior high school classmates, I asked my mom to find a way to reconnect with her mom. Luckily, they had a good relationship when they were in school, but then my mom left the country and the connection was broken. Her dad was a Go enthusiast, and it just so happened that I knew a bit about it. Later, when I told them I wanted to pursue Lily, they agreed. But they knew that Lily was very resistant to blind dates. So I came up with my own idea, and all I needed was for them to cooperate with me. Next, I learned cooking from Elisa for a month, and spent a month getting on good terms with the group. Finally, I convinced my aunt and uncle to let Elisa go to my sister's house. And everything went according to plan. I was nervous about meeting her officially for the first time. She didn't reject me by surprise but was honest enough to follow her desires. I knew I was halfway there when I saw her eyes light up and asked me to make her soup tonight. When I saw the luggage, I was so excited that my heart was about to be out of my chest. It took me 3 months to live in her house. As I had hoped. On the first night, I realized that not only was she pleased with my cooking, she was also pleased with my figure. That made me a little happy. More than a month together, I always deliberately create some intimate physical contact. She seemed to be slowly discovering her liking for me as well. However, at the market, when I heard her anxious to explain that she was not my girlfriend, I was still a little sad. The manga was coming to an end, and she was becoming very busy every day. I was worried that her body couldn't take it and forced her to walk downstairs every day. After drawing, she said she wanted to take me to eat something delicious. I remembered that she said in her friend circle last night that she wanted to eat spicy hot pot. Although I don't eat spicy food, it's nice to watch her eat it. When I came out, I ran into my former classmate, and I wanted to introduce her as someone I liked. But I didn't dare because she didn't seem to like people misunderstanding our relationship. But this classmate actually wanted to talk to me alone. This is how much want to harm me, ah? After getting into the car, I was afraid that she would misunderstand, and hurriedly explained. Luckily, she didn't seem angry. She was surprised to learn that I was Emiliano. When we got back, we sat down and had a nice chat. I had a lot of things I was hiding from her, and I didn't dare to tell her. Then she seemed to get angry and she ignored me, no matter how much I tried to coax her. I was a bit panicked. She went out for a party with her friends. I was worried about her and wanted to pick her up. She refused to tell me where she was, so I could only push down my worries and patiently coax her. When I saw her being confessed to, I didn't even think about it and rushed straight to her. She didn't deny our relationship this time, and I was a little happy. In the car, her shy look made my heart flutter like crazy. I knew that I was going to speed things up. I was really scared that she would suddenly be snatched up by someone else. Knowing that she likes Nico, I asked someone to get tickets for the concert. She was happy as a child when she saw the tickets. I hoped that, in front of me, she would always be able to smile like this without any worries. At the concert, she mentioned again that we were just friends. When Nico told me to cheer up, I made up my mind that even if she would be scared off by me, I would tell her, I'm going to pursue her. Her face instantly exploded red after I said it, and she was really cute. I formally confessed my love to her in the parking lot. And she didn't hesitate. She just said yes. I finally got what I wanted. Back at the hotel, she actually said she wanted to sleep with me. How can this be? If I lie with her in the same bed, how can I sleep? However, she was so petulant and tricky that I simply couldn't argue with her. I've warned her not to move, but she's always like that. So cute. We got together. My sister found out, and actually took her to a bar. I contacted my brother-in-law, and then each took them home. When my aunt and uncle came, the tension in her eyes was visible to the naked eye. When she saw that our meeting didn't take place in the imagined fix, she was smart enough to finally realize that there was something unusual in there. Well, she didn't blame me. She just made me sleep in my own room for a week. For your sake, I'm willing to plan slowly, because I won't allow any accidents to make me miss you.